Okay, it's Heather Regan Addis here from Beachcomber Meditation with our latest podcast episode, where I'm speaking to one of my oldest friends, Claire, who's also come on board Beachcomber Meditation as a business guru, an accounts guru. Um,
Mm.
so it's really good to see you, Claire. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Hi, Heather. No, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, no, it's been a good day. The sun's been shining, and I've seen a family member that's recently gone through some trouble. It's been good to see him.
Mm,
And yeah, no, today's been a good day.
been a good day. And can you tell me a bit about yourself? Introduce yourself to the
Okay.
our audience.
So, yeah, I'm Claire, as Heather said. Um, I'm 60, which is a bit of a shock. So, I'm an accountant and I've worked in various places. Um, Austin Rover. The most fun job I had was working for a record company. That was great. I'm married. I've got two grown-up boys, and I live in Cumbria, in a lovely quiet corner of Cumbria, which is a bit of a secret. So it's just such a lovely valley that we live in that doesn't really get travelled very much. So we've been up here a couple of years, but have spent about 30 years in the Peak District.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. And what's your role in Beachcomber meditation, and why did you agree to be a part of it?
So, Beachcomber meditation is an exciting new project, and as a dear friend, Heather, I wanted to help her out. So, as an accountant, I'm hoping that I might be able to add some business knowledge to the organisation, and really, primarily, it's to support Heather in a new venture.
Mm, brilliant, thanks, Claire. So yes, we're going to be meeting up in a couple of weeks, aren't we, to try and start to get the accounts in order.
Hopefully.
And I'll be brushing up on my bookkeeping skills, oh,
Well,
from which I haven't used for quite a while. So we recently went to see Richard Ashcroft in concert.
we did.
Yeah, and we often go to concerts together. I think later on in the year we're going to see The Cure, aren't we? Which is a bit of
Yes.
blast from the past for both of us. So I know that you love music. So can you tell me a bit about your time working in A&R and also about what music means to you?
So I actually only really worked at EMI Records for about 4 years, but it's the most memorable job that I had. And being an accountant isn't the most exciting. I'm not, personality wise, I'm not best suited to a traditional stereotypical image of an accountant, but I am good at maths and I'm quite good at that kind of thing. So I figured the only way I was going to make it interesting is to work in an interesting industry. And it was at a time, oh, I don't know, in the late 80s, when there was a lot of money floating around in the record industry and not many rules, lots of freedom. You got to meet lots of some of the current artists at the time, like Duran Duran and who else used to come? Loads of people used to come in. Some like Nigel Kennedy, who's recently resurfaced and resurged his career as a classical violinist. He used to come in very often. Marillion, Pet Shop Boys. So yeah, it was a really interesting time. Work never really started till lunchtime. They often ended in the pub afterwards. So and as an A&R accountant, I was involved with the new signing of artists and helping to decide on the advances we would pay these people, hoping for big success from each of them. And the A&R director used to be a keyboardist for Dexys Midnight Runners. And so he had lots of interesting tales. Lots of concerts, lots of freebie records. Um, I'm sure EMI Records isn't like that now, but I've always been really interested in music. And I can remember it when I was 16, my very first album was Human League Dare. And then my second album was Heaven 17, Penthouse and Pavement. And occasionally you still hear them on the radio, but it takes me back to a really special time when I was really seriously interested in all that new romantic Depeche Mode and Eurythmics. Ultravox, OMD, that kind of era. And as time has passed, I'm still really interested in it. My tastes have changed, and I think some of what you like, Heather, has rubbed off on me somewhat.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but my special at the moment is Radiohead, and I
Mm,
think I will listen to Radiohead until the day I die.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Radiohead are one of my favourites. I remember seeing them at Glastonbury the first time they played their
Oh, lucky you.
set. Yeah. But it's interesting you say Dare by Human League because my best friend at school, she was called Heather too. So we used to sit together in all our classes and confuse everybody. And for Christmas, one year, she bought me Dare,
Oh,
which
really?
was quite a big present for a friend to
It
buy.
is because
And
they were expensive, weren't they? Vinyl.
And I remember carrying it around school with me all day. I wouldn't let it go. I was just so chuffed with it. Yeah.
Have you still got it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think my daughter might have it. But yeah, I don't have any vinyl now, I don't think. So we met, we were just talking about this beforehand about 20 years ago when
Yeah,
we both lived in Whaley Bridge in Derbyshire, which is the place that a couple of years ago the dam broke, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
thought that it was going to flood the town, but it didn't. And I understand.
Can I just interrupt you? It wasn't a couple of years ago. It was 2019.
Oh, was it when the
I
dam?
think it was, yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, I'm pretty
flooding now.
certain it was.
Yeah, they're starting filling it again now.
I believe so, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, we met about 20 years ago when we both had children at the local primary school.
yeah.
And we met at, well, it was called a book group, but really it was a drinking lots of wine
It
and
was.
gossiping club.
Although I did read some really good books, books that I wouldn't necessarily have chosen,
Mm,
but that I ended up really enjoying. So it did have an impact.
yeah. So and then just after that, I started teaching yoga, and you started coming to. I mean,
Yeah.
you came to my very first yoga classes, and then went on to teach. I went on to teach mindfulness. But I wonder if you could tell me about your memories of yoga and mindfulness that you used to do.
Well, it was quite a long time ago, but I do remember, my abiding memory is how lovely a tone of voice you had, which really, when we were doing the meditation, and I learned over time not to do this, but it would often send me immediately to sleep. And it was finding that sweet spot between being calm and meditating and falling asleep that actually took quite a while to get the hang of. But I remember it as being a very supportive time. And I always looked forward to it immensely because I always felt reset after attending.
Mhm.
So, it never really showed that you were a trainee. I suppose I didn't have any prior experience of yoga, to be fair. But, I think, we went for many years, quite a few years, didn't we? How
Yeah.
long was it, Heather, that you taught?
Oh, probably about 4 or 5 years because I had the front bedroom in the house
Yes,
was
yeah,
like a yoga studio, wasn't it? And we used to have
it
like five or
was.
six people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember it really fondly. I do remember doing, and another friend of mine used to Rach.
Mm.
Do you remember? And I remember doing a walking meditation. We were doing walking meditation around the room. And I think Rach struggled to do it quite slowly. So she kept bumping into the back of me. So, and I know Rach got an awful lot out of it too. And the other thing, this might sound a bit daft, Heather, but in the summer, I remember sitting there meditating to the sound of swifts
Mm.
outside.
Yeah.
And when I hear, swirling swifts now, I'm reminded of that time. So, yeah, happy days.
Happy days. And how has your experience of yoga and mindfulness impacted your daily life over the years?
I suppose, I mean, I'm aware still, even though it was a long time ago, about exercise, yoga positions that are good for strengthening core muscles. I must admit, I'm a bit lapsed, but I do know what they are. But the thing that I do quite regularly is mindfulness breathing techniques.
Hmm.
The three-stage breathing. If I'm feeling tense, if I'm feeling like things are spiraling out of control, I try and tell myself and practice yogic three-stage breathing and the alternate nostril breathing. So I do still employ those methods that help.
Mm.
But actually, for me, it was more of a frame of mind that made a big difference for me. So it did teach me to be a little bit calmer,
Mm.
I think. Yeah, no, I do feel that through knowing you and through the yoga practice, that that I can see things a little bit more calmly. It doesn't always work, Heather, but um, I think it has worked well overall in these over these past few years. Yeah, big
Yeah.
influence you are.
Thank you. That's really good to hear. Now, tell me about your passion for yarn and weaving.
Well, so I've always been, although I've been an accountant, I've always liked textiles, and I was taught to knit by my grandma at the age of 6. I can still picture what it was that I made, a very holy, lumpy red wool scarf for my teddy bear.
Mm.
And this was when we were living in Gloucester, so I must have been very, young, 8 to 10, if that. And so I've always been interested. My mother's always done dressmaking. My grandma used to make coats for the royal family's children. So it's always been part of my life. But I've been retired for some time now, and it's given me the opportunity to resurrect that interest and learn new skills. So although I don't do dressmaking much, I still knit. But my passion really is using natural fibre and weaving. So I'm currently weaving a rug on a very large wooden loom that was gifted to me. And I have a studio in a local, uh, what used to be a weaving mill, woolen mill. And so it's great to spend time with like-minded people who also weave and to share inspirations and techniques and so on. But I think it's the actual process of weaving that is what appeals to me because it is very mindful. The whole left to right, left to right, left to right is it. There's a rhythm to it that actually you lose the sense of time. And I'll often spend a day at the mill and go, "Oh my goodness, is it that time already?" Because I've just got carried away, and it allows me headspace to think about other things.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's just good for my soul, really. Quite whether, what I make is of any, I have a perfectionist streak, which I'm really trying to manage to not dominate. But yeah, I like to be able to make something and use that something. And so far I have. So, yeah, I get an awful lot out of that.
Well, I've seen some of the things that you've woven, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful
thank you.
colours, beautiful textures. So, how big is your loom, Claire?
I would say it's the size of a double bed,
Hmm.
um, and with a four-poster. So it actually, to be fair, it completely fills my studio, and it's a bit of a struggle to get all the way around it. But it was hand built by a guy who was a commercial weaver, and he built it according to his specifications. And I estimate it's 50 to 70 years old. And I was going to restore some of the wood and some of the wear marks. And actually, I decided I wanted to live with it because it imbued a sense of history and a working life. I didn't want my loom to look pristine. I kind of like, like the water stain on my beater, and wonder how it got there. Was it his cup of tea? Was it that caused it? And so on. And it just makes me feel very connected, I think, to this loom. But certainly the visitors to the mill are also very interested in it, especially the chaps who are often at a bit of a loose end while their other halves are looking around all the textile displays, often want to come in and talk to me about the engineering of it,
Mhm.
which is fine. I'm happily chat to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Um, so do you ever have like moments of insight, sort of aha moments to do with issues in your life when you're doing the weaving?
do I have issues of what? Insights of what? Sorry.
Like aha moments or insights about things that are, maybe issues or problems in your life that just kind of the answer just emerges during that process of weaving.
Um, yes. I mean, I find it calming,
Mm,
and I find weaving. I can be as immersed in it as I want, so I
mm,
can actually not think about other things, which is also good sometimes. But actually, when I'm doing some easy weaving, um, it's almost like I can think about problems that are going on in my life in some sort of calmer context.
yeah.
Does that make sense? It
Mhm.
just it just dials it just dials the anxiety down. Or unless I'm having a really bad weaving day, in which case it can quite easily get quite sweary. So when weaving goes wrong, that's really not so calming. But thankfully, I have more calm days than not.
And if anybody wanted to come and visit you at the mill, whereabouts is it?
So it's Farfield Mill, and it's in Cumbria, but not on the Lake District side of the M6. So it's sort of just on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales
Mm,
National Park. And there's potters, there's lino cut, there's lots of resident artists. So and we're all very supportive of each other, which is great. So and it's free to come in. They just ask for a donation, and it's open Wednesday to Sunday. So do pay us a visit. You'll recognise me by my loom as I've described it.
mm. Thanks, Claire. And
Cool.
I'd just like to say, how grateful I am that you've, stepped forward and are helping me with Beachcomber. I found it kind of very moving that some of my really close friends have come forward to help me. So thank you again for
No, it's a
what you do.
pleasure, and everyone wishes you the best. That's involved. So, and I'm sure it will be, Heather, because that's my experience of 20 years with you.
Thank you.
That failure is not an option.
Thank you. Um,
So,
that was another question I just wanted to ask you. You said that kind of you have these kind of perfectionist tendencies when it comes to
yes,
weaving. How are you relating to that? You said kind of you're working on that. How are you doing that?
I'm just trying to let it go.
Good.
I mean, I will. I strive to be the best that I can,
Mm,
um, but I try to recognise and tell myself that's okay. That's what a handmade product is about. And actually, my experience is that nobody notices.
mm,
It's just me, and I'm
mm,
well aware of that. And but some of my friends do say, "Oh, well, of course you're a perfectionist," and and I'm okay with that. I know who I am, and I am okay with it. But I'm working on being less so
mm.
because I don't want to be anxious about something that's not perfect,
Yeah.
basically, that
And maybe
nobody else would notice anyway. So,
yeah. And it's good to really enjoy your weaving.
yeah, yeah. So one of the things I've found with the other weavers there, and we all look at each other's work and we all compliment each other, but every weaver loves to point out what's not good about it.
Oh,
So
dear.
we're all really harsh critics of our own work.
Mm,
So yeah, it's interesting. I've never known that in any other artistic field.
mm,
Um, the the desire to actually tell other weavers what's not right about it that nobody would ever notice. So,
Mm,
you know,
yeah. Well, thank you, Claire. It's been lovely to talk to you. So this has been the
you too.
yes, this has been the Beachcomber Meditation podcast where me, Heather, has been talking to my friend Claire Laybourne, accounts guru and business advisor for
Steady.
for Beachcomber Meditation. And we'll be back with another podcast episode very soon. All right, bye, Claire.
Bye, Heather.